I'm so excited to be here. It's been such a long time since we've seen each other, and it's been such a long time since our last interview. I just can't believe it. I mean, just so much that has happened since I've last seen everyone. You know, my work has developed in such different directions to what I thought they would be. I've graduated, like life is crazy right now. So before I was doing some kind of, I thought they were large scale, but they were really quite small paintings. And I've actually got some of my new paintings either side of me, and they are 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters. So you'll see that later. He's gonna put that in post. I'm doing sculptures now, video, photography. So it's really been such a different direction. And, you know, I've been so blessed to be able to really explore that outside of, you know, all these traditional mediums. I've been able to just go all out and have the support of university, and have the support of now my other university, because I'm starting my master's. So it's been a trip, girl. It's been crazy. And of course, graduating. My degree show was a massive highlight. You know, I got to see Revel as well, which is always nice. And just being done, knowing that I have a degree now, and, you know, I'm the first person to go to university in my family. So that was a huge, massive highlight, like blinding light of a highlight kind of thing. I think the highlight for me has been working a lot with other people, other artists. But recently I've teamed up with 2 chefs, really good friends of mine. They're just so amazing. And we're going to be doing my first solo show together, and it's also going to be a showcase of their food. So it's like a collaboration of an event, essentially. And we're going to be doing that in Brixton in October 6th. So that's been like one of the biggest highlights, has been planning towards that, just getting together over that, being able to break bread and just talk about food and art and culture every week. I'm going to be showcasing the 2 large-scale paintings, and then I'm going to be showcasing bobbin lace samples, which I've turned into sculptures. And I'm so excited to show you that, guys. My grandma makes bobbin lace, and, you know, there's so much intimacy and love in this labor that she does. It's very much her, like, just pastime. No one's bothering her while she's doing that. No one's asking her to do things. It's just her time, you know, me time. And it's such a complex thing to do. I was gonna call it a labor, but in Spanish it's labor, you know. It's such a complex art form, and it's just not valued because it's quote unquote like women's work. So it's something that we see, and it's like, oh, doilies, like that's so out of fashion, da 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 da. But really and truly, it's such an intricate piece of work, and it's such a like difficult thing to master, to where my grandma at 75 is still learning. So I really wanted to showcase that labor that she's put into it, you know, all that work that she's put into it, and give it a new life, because these are cut off. So they're things that she's saying she can't use, she doesn't know what she'd use them for, they'll go in the bin otherwise. And I can't stand to see anything go in the bin at all. Like, I can't, it's a compulsion for me. So she's given me a whole bag of bobbin lace that she's made, and I'm turning it into sculptures. So like table centers, living room sculptures, you know, really picture it in your house, because they're gonna be for sale. So I really, really, really want to just put that in a good light and do justice to the things that she does. This is one of the large scale paintings that I was working on. She's finished, she's me, if you guys can't see the resemblance. So this was actually my first ever portrait, just completely by myself, no assistance, no nothing. I have another couple of little oil studies that I did of my partner's face and my niece's face, but they were literally so quick. So this is my first ever portrait of any kind that I've done by myself, completely without help. The concept of these 2 paintings in the mini-series is about women of color and rest. I feel like so often we're portrayed as, you know, especially Latino and Black women, we're so often portrayed as hustlers, you know, single moms. And really and truly, we just don't get depicted as being soft, as being calm, as being able to rest. We don't get depicted ever in that soft life in popular media. And I don't like that. It really seeps into your life, into real life, because things come out of the digital world into the real world. They shape culture. And there's this culture now of, and there's always been, of we have to be strong and resilient and this and the other. And you know, sometimes I just want to be soft and I want to rest and I want to have my nails done and get my facials and, you know, get my face cleaned out at the spa and lay down on a little lounge. You know, I want to rest. And the series is called In Rest Lies Divinity. There's so much that happens when we rest. Our ideas form, you know, we get to daydream, we get to think about the future, we get to form plans, we get to just rest, we get to listen to our bodies, to our spirits. It is so important to be able to have that moment of rest. So I wanted to highlight in these paintings exactly that. But I didn't want to bring then that stereotypical, you know, if I'm resting, if I'm soft as a Latina woman, then I must be submissive, then I must be at home. So I really wanted to bring that gaze to make sure that the eyes are looking at the viewer. Because I'm resting, because I'm soft, doesn't make me weak or vulnerable in any way. There is strength in that rest. There's all these lovely bits of texture. So I actually did the whole background with a palette knife. I'm very much like breaking away from realism and from constant, you know, I know this is quite realistic, but I just, halfway through this painting, I was like, what am I doing? I just want to break free with all of this. So that really goes hand in hand with all the experimenting I've been doing and with, you know, breaking free from just figurative painting and that and only that being valid. So I started to do all these textures and all these like really fun bits of thick paint, and you know, originally it was going to be a really realistic background, but I just loved this, you know. Maybe I won't love it in a month, who knows, but it was so freeing and so empowering to be able to just come in here with these thick globs of paint and think, you know what, it doesn't matter if other people don't like it, because I loved it and I love the process. So yeah, this painting is very much about rest, but it's also very much about liberation. Like, this was a big liberation thing for me, a very freeing moment for me. So this is some of the bobbin lace that my grandma gave me, and these were just like cut off. She didn't want them. She said, I have nothing else to do with them, but you're the only one who appreciates them, blah 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 blah. I was like, yeah. So she's given me these, and they're just so intricate, and like, it's just so impressive. So she makes knots using wooden bobbins. They're about this big, and she just crisscrosses them, and it makes these patterns. And this is, I think, some of the most expensive lace in the world, I think, like this type of lace. Not necessarily this pattern, but the type of lace, I think. Don't quote me on that, you know, Google it for yourselves. So yeah, and I just get to have like meters and meters of it because my grandma's board, and I just feel so blessed and privileged. So I'll probably wear this one as a scarf on the day. I don't know what to do with this one because I think it's the longest sample that I've got. So you know. She used 2 different thread colors for this one, which is insane. How do you keep track? And she'll be using like 50 bobbins, and I just don't know how she keeps track of each one, because it's just so much thread. Like you see here, each one of these is a bobbin, like each singular thread here is a bobbin. So all of these. And she's just given me all of this. She said, yeah, do what you want. So I'm making sculptures. This is also bobbin lace, but this was made specifically by my grandma for this show. I have some canvas cutouts, which I can't use. They're too small to paint on. Like, I guess I could embroider on them or something, but it's just, they were coming apart, you know, all the threads were coming apart. So I took the threads to my grandma and I asked her if she could make like these tiny little bits of lace for me. And then she talked me through some processes to stiffen the fabric up. And I've made these little centerpieces. So shout out grandma once again, because we've collaborated. And now there's these centerpieces and little sculptures. I've got some bigger ones, which I won't show because you can come to the show to see them. And they're gonna be table centerpieces, but they're also gonna be like big like dining room centerpieces. They can also be used as just sculptures for your coffee table, sculptures for your living room, very much more focused on the material and decor side. So I wanted to highlight the labor and the craft that has gone into this, as opposed to any other kind of external concept. I just really want them to be admired. So the way I've stiffened each one is to try and really show off the pattern as much as possible. So none of them are like super scrunched up or anything like that, because I just want to do justice. I mean, that's crazy. She just does this. She's made me like 5 of these, and each one took like an hour and a half. This would take me months. So I'm gonna try and get her to teach me. We're putting this on because my friends who I've teamed up with, these wonderful chefs, they are very big on food as art. And you know, food is an art form, cuisine is an art form, and very much art and food and culture and connection should always go hand in hand. So we want to make a fusion. We want to make an event where all of these different disciplines can merge and blend together, so that we can all have this really immersive, fun experience where you're talking to people, you're just breaking bread with complete strangers and maybe coming out with it with friends, with connections. So, you know, we are very big on connection, and I think we've lost a lot of that with social media. You know, it's not social media bad, phone is bad, but really in our bid to try and become more connected, really and truly we've become a lot more disconnected. Our connections aren't as deep and genuine as they used to be. So part of the effort of this event is to connect people in person, genuine connections, and you know, even if it's a connection for one night, but it's a deep connection in that moment, and a space to just share and tell stories and laugh and be together over food and over art. And yeah, I think it was such a beautiful concept, and you know, when we discussed it, I was just so excited about it. So that's really a big reason why we're having it, you know. Of course to showcase art, of course to showcase the food, promotion, that's always going to be part of it, but really and truly at the core of it is connection, is love, is being human, coming together.